Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? What's good? Nope, can't hear you. Nope. Yo, can you hear me? It's crazy. I see the little green light. I was going to say, I see the green light lighting up when I talk, but I can't hear you when you talk. Okay, so I'm perfect, but you're not. Okay, we're gonna get it figured out, man. All right, for sure. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, I think I hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
How the fuck? Okay. A little lag time, but I guess we're there now.
We're there.
Okay. Let's do this the right way then, okay? Yo, y'all already know what it is. It's Tri-Town Tory coming to you live from the Northwest. And today we have a very special edition episode of Tory Talk Podcast. We are connecting the Northwest with Up North Alaska with my man Alaska Red. How's it popping today, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. Great. Thanks for having me.
Man, I love whenever I get to talk to you, man, because you're one of the coolest, nicest, most humble artists who's very talented and is a very hard worker and has a work ethic that reminds me of artists back in the 90s, and like when Pac was in the studio grinding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
I feel like you're a cut.
I come from that era, you know what I'm saying? So my grind is always like at that speed and at that pace, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yes, no, most definitely. To start this off, I want you to give a brief introduction to those who are going to be listening about who you are, where you came from. Kind of give us the rundown about it.
For sure, man. I go by Alaska Red. I hail from a little city in the tippy top of the map, the Chilly Willy Farilli, as I like to call it. It's called Fairbanks, Alaska. It's the Golden Heart City. Basically, I've been a resident up here over 30 years. I'm originally from Spokane, Washington. Shout out to all my people in the Washington area. You know what I'm saying? I got family all throughout there. So, you know, originally from Spokane. Came up here a long time ago, you know, got planted here from my parents being up here. Always been into music, have a very musical background just through my family. And, you know, my father's side of the family, everybody was into rock and roll, playing instruments, had full band setups in the basement, all that jazz. Grandmother was a opera singer in the Bay Area back in the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. So got a very, very big musical influence from my family. And, just kind of like got into break dancing and hip hop early on in life. And then, you know what I'm saying, started like indulging in music and diving into it around junior high. And I linked up with a local record label here in Fairbanks called 50 Below Records. End of the 90s, kind of worked with them for a little bit, and was signed to the label, went down to LA, shot some videos, got in Paramount Studios down there in LA. Those guys ended up relocating. Basically was the start of my thing, Red Dot Studios, Red Dot Productions. Me and a couple of homies from here in Fairbanks kind of put some stuff together and was just like, let's put out some music, man. So we started looking around, found some studios locally here in town, started recording, finding little pieces of equipment to make beats and stuff like that, because this was like pre-internet days, so there was no like beatstar.com, none of that shit. So you didn't have no free beats nowhere. There was like, even when the internet was available, there still wasn't anything like that out there yet. You know what I'm saying? So we were like ground up making beats with synthesizers and MPC 2000 and Alesis SR16s and just, you know what I'm saying, actually hardware equipment and shit like that. So started like making beats and, recording a little bit like at a home studio on 4 tracks and shit like that. And then we started getting up into the bigger studio, recording a project back in like 2001. I dropped my first solo album. My first project is a, independent artist, is a record label, is Red Dot Productions. It was called Organized Ruckus. And, just from there, kept growing, man. Over the years, we put out another couple albums. I opened up a recording studio here in Fairbanks. My career stretches over a couple of decades, so I'm considered one of the pioneers of the hip hop scene up here. You know what I mean? Like, I've helped nurture the scene, not just as an artist, but like, the city I'm in, we never really had a lot of like access to anything hip hop up here. We're in Alaska, man. We're pretty much cut off from the rest of the world, kind of, if you're not on a plane or the internet. You know what I mean? So we didn't get a lot of access to big shows, big name artists, underground, mainstream, whatever. So after I started the studio business and we dropped a couple albums, we started like talking. I was like, man, I would love to see some people come here. You know what I mean? If I can't get to them, maybe I can get them here. So I started another company called Permafrost Promotions in 2007, and that was like my venture into like, bringing artists up to Alaska. And just so happens my very first artist that I ever connected with and I ever did a show with happened to be Tech Nine. So it was really kind of cool, because I'd worked with the lady in town and we'd done a couple shows together, and that's kind of how I got my feet wet in the promotion game. Like she owned a barber or a beauty salon and a clothing store up here, and she was like, and I was working at the radio station at the time and owned my studio, and so she came to me and was like, look, I'm thinking about bringing Sean Paul from the Youngbloods up here. Would you help me, promote the show and kind of sell tickets to the studio and talk about it on the radio? And I'm like, yeah, of course. I got you. Just let me get in on the show. She was like, of course, I got you. So I wiggled my way into the show like that. You know what I'm saying? So got in on that one, and she liked it and she had fun doing it. And then like that next year, she was like, well, let's do Little Scrappy. So we brought Little Scrappy up.
Nice.
Did shows in Fairbanks and Anchorage with Little Scrap. And then right after that, we did Rick Ross. Then this was like right when Rick Ross was like right about to blow up. Like he had the Cash City Cartel CD out, and he already had Every Day I'm Hustling, was like hella big, platinum selling ringtone already and shit, which was like unheard of at the time. Wow. And she brought him up here to little old Fairbanks and to Anchorage, and got to meet him. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty freaking surreal. That was like, he was actually like the first real big artist that I opened up for. You know what I'm saying? Like, Scrappy was big, but he wasn't like big like Rick Ross. You know what I'm saying? So that was like, that was pretty surreal to open up for a dude like that, and get a chop it up.
Ross was commanding his presence at that time.
Holy dude, it was an amazing fucking show. He went out there and ripped like every fucking song off that album. It was crazy, dude. And then did like a little encore. Like he was literally up there for like an hour and a half. I was like, this big motherfucker is up here killing it. What the fuck, yo?
Yeah, and he can rap his ass off, man.
Bro, he's a fucking force for real. And so that kind of, like I said, got my feet wet. Circling back, me and one of the homies started talking. He was like, yo, man, I wasn't even super familiar with Tech Nine at the time. but Ever Ready had just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'd heard a couple of songs off of Angelic and a few of the prior albums that Tech and them had put out, but like I said, I wasn't a huge follower, didn't know really too much about them per se.
Right.
And then my little homie came to me and was like, yo man, check out this new album dude just dropped, and we're listening. I was like, God damn, this is fucking amazing, man. I was just like like still to this day, man, that album, and it might just because it plays a special part in my life, and like, you know what I'm saying, like it tugs on the heartstrings a little bit or whatever, but that still is like my favorite piece of work from them to this date. You know what I mean? Like I love that fucking album, and I'm just like, it's pretty much what got me into like, you know, well shit, let me try to get this dude up to Alaska. And like it was all just on the whim, man. Like I didn't know any booking agents. I didn't know fucking nobody. All I did is I looked on the inside of that CD and it said, for booking, call this number.
Oh.
And I said, all right, fuck it. Like I said, I'm a king of cold calling motherfuckers, man. I'll find out a number, you know, get a contact, and I'm not scared to reach out to people. You know what I'm saying? Because the worst you're gonna hear is no. You know what I'm saying? So I reached out, and dude was kind of intrigued. I think I ended up talking to Travis O'Gwen, was like one of the first people I was talking to. So me and Travis talked a little bit about it, and he was like, yeah, man, let me run it by the guys, see what they think, you know, and it just, you know, it ended up just coming to life. It worked itself out, and, you know, me being me and thinking ahead of the curve, like I said, I didn't even have any idea how big the dude was or was going to be or any of that shit. I had no clue. I was just like, sure, man, let's do some shows. We'll bring you up to Alaska. It's gonna be hella fun. You know what I'm saying? Like let's go ahead and do this. And so I booked him, but then also on the back end, I was like, well, you know, I want to do some music with dude too, because I liked his style. I was like, dude, this dude's fucking dope, man. He's kind of dark and it's, you know, it's chopping. I like that shit. So I was like, can we work out a deal to where, you know, I get a feature from him? And, you know, we went back and forth, kind of talked about it a little bit, and we worked it out, man. So I ended up getting to actually do a song with him too. And the cool thing was, like, when they got here, he actually recorded it in my studio. I engineered and mixed the whole thing. I also ended up getting Calico on it, because Chris Calico was hanging out because he was in the show with us. So he was like, man, let me jump on the track. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, of course. Wow. And Calhoun was like, shit, let me get on that shit too. I'm like, all right, man, shit, let's go. So I ended up getting all three of those gentlemen on that track, AK to KC Mo, which is on one of my previous albums, Trapped in the Land of the Frozen. But yeah, man, that was a pretty momentous time in my career, starting off the whole promotion biz and shit. And it was really fun, man. Shows were sold out. It was bananas. I thought I'd figured it out. It was like, I'm gonna be a millionaire in 10 years. This shit, you know, just because the shows were so good, and like I did great, papered up, made my money. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And then like the next 3 shows I threw after that, I lost my ass, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is how this promotion shit works. Like you make some, then you lose some, you know. Yeah, and it's a different beast just being up here in Alaska anyway, you know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of travel and all that shit entailed with every fucking show, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to get through. But yeah, it's been a fun run.
Dude, just from hearing that for a little bit, I feel like the universe really favored you in a couple different circumstances, and I think it's because of the kind of person you are. Like from what I can tell of it, from knowing you and just hearing a little bit about, you know, your upcoming, you're a very humble dude. A lot of things don't excite you that would excite like a mainstream follower type of rapper. And I think that's the roots. Like you said, you come from the 90s. You're a bit older than some of these other rappers that are still active in the game right now. But you're still consistently dropping
for sure,
and you're still consistently touring and doing everything. What it goes to show you is that your fan base is really is following you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, for sure. They've grown with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. They've grown with me over the years, no doubt.
I want to talk a little bit about, because you gave us the whole rundown of the origin, and I kind of want to go back to the beginning a little bit. The breakdancing, I have to revisit this again. My dad is he was a breakdancer when he came here from Mexico. So breakdancing has always been very important, like, to me as a person, because because it was something that it was like magic to me. You know, to think that it was possible to move your body to the music, and you were able to do something that would
do some of those things that they do.
Have the effect on the person watching you. You know what I'm saying? Did you watch Beat Street or like any?
Yeah, bro, that's where that's where it all started, dog.
God, I love
like literally, me, like I said, me and my older brother and my cousin growing up in Spokane, like that was right when like Beat Street and Breaking One came out. You know what I'm saying? So we were full-fledged, like, you know, bandanas around the ankles and the wrists, and we had the parachute pants and the Michael Jackson freaking jackets, like all that shit, bro. Like hard 80s shit, like for real. And like we got good at that shit though, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we had the big boom boxes, the little ghetto blasters we used to carry around, and we'd all meet up at these fucking we'd meet up at this car wash down in Spokane on like the weekend, and cats would bring these rollers of linoleum, and we'd have our little, you know, break dancing sessions and shit right there, like some real fucking breaker shit. And then it was kind of strange because it carried on even as a young kid when I learned all that stuff down there. Then I moved up here for a little while for a stint back when I was a child too. And like, this is a very, very, very big melting pot of a place, like Fairbanks and Anchorage in a sense, because we're connected to military bases. You feel what I'm saying? So we have like influence from all sorts of different kinds of cultures and people, and fucking they're from all over the place. You know what I'm saying? They come from Texas, they come from New York, they come from all over when they're in the military. So it's like, yeah, man. Yeah. So like,
it's like a melting pot.
When we moved up here when we were kids and we were into all that stuff, now the town and city itself wasn't like, you know, they weren't into that because this place was always kind of behind the curve of shit. You know what I mean? Just being where it is. But we met some people that like my stepdad worked with, this guy named Meza. I think his name was Mazo. He was this dude from New York, man. He was like the guy that honestly started me rapping, because like we were breaking and shit, and he was from New York, and so he'd be like, oh man, y'all break, oh that's dope. So he would like break dance with us and show us moves and shit like that, and show us how to do things. And I'm like, hell yeah, this guy's the shit, man. You know, he's a cool dude, older dude. And then he was like, you guys ever you guys want to, I'm gonna bust a rap for you guys. Ever heard guy rap before? I'm like, well, I've listened to rap, you know what I'm saying, but not like, never seen nobody really do it live. I'd only seen like videos, and like LL Cool J Rock the Bells was out and shit like that. Run DMC, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So like I wasn't like super not hip to it, but it was like I'd never really seen no one do it live or anything like that. And then all of a sudden that dude like threw on a tape and started like fucking rapping, and I'm like, whoa, dude, what the whoa. Shit. Whoa, I like that. And he was like, man, you could do it too. And I'm like, what? I could do that? He's like, yeah, man. He got me and my brother to like start writing lyrics and stuff. Man, I'm a little kid, dude, like second grade. You know what I'm saying? Like little dude, man, for real. And then like we bounced back down to the States. We were back in the States for a little while, and I kind of, you know, didn't really stick with the flowing or nothing like that, but I was breakdancing a lot still. I was kind of like the thing still down there for a little while, and then, you know, just kind of evolved. Breakdancing kind of fell off, and then, you know, I started like freestyling and shit in junior high, like walking to and from school. That's kind of how I started like getting my spits, just kind of flowing at parties, flowing, going to school, to and fro. And then, yeah, man, just linked up with those dudes and, at 50 Below Records, and, you know, started kind of taking it more serious and kind of trying to make something out of it.
Man, like I said, I love the throwback stories, man, because what it does is it takes me back to the time period that you lived in, and I kind of get lost in it as a listener.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You have a lot of you have a way of painting a picture that makes it very visual for the listener. So I want to know a little bit about Spokane back when you were younger, as far as what your thoughts were about the music scene out there, if there was one, or if there people were doing like open mic, you know, stuff, or what was it like?
Well, when I was such a young child, man, from my perspective, what I would see was I would see my Uncle Vance and my uncle. They were like in this gospel soul group, and they used to play at Peking Garden or Peking North like every weekend. Them fools were down there jamming gospel and soul music at Peking or dog, the little Chinese spot. It's still there. Like, I drove by this one. I was like, God damn, Peking North's still fucking here. Fuck yeah. Like, okay, so that was like my musical experience as a child, was like watching my uncles and my cousin and my father and my brother and those guys like in bands, you know what I mean? My cousins used to play down at Riverside Park in the summertime when they'd have like local musicians and stuff like that. They'd be out there rocking, and they're all rock and roll background, man, but it was like, it was still a great time, you know. It was the 80s. It was big hair and fucking ripped up jeans time, and it was just fun, man. It was fun. It was loud, rowdy music, but I was just a child, so I just kind of got to see it from the outside looking in, you know what I mean? And I just wasn't really too, I guess, you know, exposed to any of the hip hop scene and lifestyle back then, except for like little bits that we'd find here and there, you know what I mean? Like, you'd see the movies Beat Street or Breakin'. My brother came home with a tape one day from Houdini, man, like one of the very first Houdini tapes, and had that song, I'm a hoe, you know, I'm a hoe, you know what I'm saying? And we're a bunch of farm boys, dog. We lived on a farm out in the valley, you know what I'm saying? Like, at this time. And so we're like, I'm a hoe. Yeah, I know what the fuck a hoe is. My dad's like, nah, bro. Nah. I'm doing my thing after every show because I'm a hoe. You don't know what the fuck that dude's saying. You can give me that goddamn tape. I'm like, what? This is great. What are you doing? Don't take my fucking childhood, motherfucker. Like, but no, man. So that was like some of my first exposure to, like, you know what I'm saying, like just some grimy, you know, but not even knowing what the fuck it was. And it was like Two Live Crew, you know what I'm saying? Getting a recorded dub tape of Two Live Crew's first album and shit like that. So, you know what I mean? That's the stuff that, you know, I go back to those kind of times, and, you know what I mean, getting little bits here and there. And that was kind of like my upbringing of, you know, the music at that time and living in Spokane. Like, I'd see my family doing their rock and roll shit, and I was sneaking around listening to rap tapes. You know what I'm saying? Getting in trouble for playing 1-and-1. I'm having some fun in the bedroom on my saxophone, and my dad's like, oh man, how'd you learn how to play that song? And I'm like, where the fuck do you know this song from? And he was like, oh, that's that Girl, I Want to Be With You. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is. Yeah. You're right. That is that song. That's exactly what I'm playing. Then he found my tape like a week later and about beat the shit out of me. He was like, oh, that's where you learned to play that shit. Oh, okay.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
What do they think of your music, like your career, like everything?
They think it's cool, man. They think it's cool. Like, my mom's always been a fucking super huge supporter. My grandma was always a huge supporter before she passed away. You know what I'm saying? Pops was a little taken back by it at first because, you know, like, we had kind of a weird relationship when we dipped out of Spokane and had to leave him because he went to prison for a while and stuff like that. So there's some, like, you know, songs that really came from my heart early on that, like, were like, you know, not dad bashing, but kind of like, you know, I had a song called Dear Dad, and another one where I'm talking about I learned how to sell drugs by watching him and shit like that. So he was like, I don't like that shit, you know. I'm like, but it's the real truth, motherfucker. Like, you don't have to like it. It's the reality. And he's like, he came to grips with that shit, and he's like, no, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You're just speaking from your point of view and your perspective. So he started respecting it a whole lot more, and he's super proud of me, and he's super supportive. You know what I'm saying? They always run around and tell people that I know all the rappers. My son's rap with Snoop Dogg, and my son's rap with Tech Nine.
Yeah,
you know.
Dude, you know what I think is awesome about that is, like, parents have to learn how to appreciate something like that on their own. Because, like, with my dad, he was a break dancer, and he also DJ'd, and that was his way of, like, really getting Americanized and learning the culture, and probably just have fun too. You know what I'm saying? They do parties and all sorts of stuff. But when I got old enough to really start to say, okay, what's my thing? You know, what am I gonna do? And I started fucking around with music because of Eminem. I mean, that's a whole podcast conversation in its own, you know, right? But my parents would hear me rapping in the room, and they knew what I was doing, but they didn't know how to feel about it because they didn't know where I was going, and they also didn't know what they could tell me if I like because I was getting great great grades. I mean, I was B plus, A's, you know, like all sorts of stuff. For rappers, I consider that great. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us don't like to stay in school, but I was getting good grades and stuff, so they let me do my thing. And my mom supported me since day one because she's always been, you know, right next to me. That's my heart right there. You know what I'm saying? So she supported me day one, but my dad was always the authoritarian kind of like, you know, not to make him sound too harsh, but he was the, if you fucked up, you got your ass whooped for it type, you know? And what it forced me to do was really just to stick to my own lane, because he couldn't stop me if I did the rap thing in my own lane. You know what I'm saying? So it took a while for him to come back around to see like, oh shit, he's doing CDs and he's making shirts and he's doing a tour. He's doing all these things like the starter kit. You know what I'm saying? The rapper starter kit. I was hit.
Yeah. They start seeing you being productive and actually like the passion you have for something and like, oh, he's passionate. Not only are you passionate behind it, but you're actually, you know, diving into it. You're being productive with it. You're staying out of trouble. Your time's, you know, spent wisely, not poorly. You know?
Exactly. And that kind of brings me to my next, what I kind of want to ask you in this sense, but I have to kind of unpack it with this. When I started making music, the wave was burn CDs. You know what I'm saying? So what my uncle gave me, he said, I have Kazaa, I can download beats for you, make a list. Or he said, no, what he said, this is what he said. He said, I'll download songs for you. And it just so happened that he had an instrumental on that burned CD. And that instrumental was all I needed because it lit the fuse that started what is right in front of you. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was that song was the Busta Rhymes "Turn It Up." If you know what I'm talking about.
Nice.
The Night Rider.
Yep. Turn it up, Nick. Oh yeah. I know that one.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's gonna lead me to ask you, when was that moment that you kind of said, okay, I got the skateboard, I'm gonna kick and push? You know what I'm saying?
You know, probably going back to what I was saying, like when I kind of like started doing it more in like junior high, and it was like kind of just a hobby. You know what I mean? I was playing around with it, rapping, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden it became apparent to me that I was good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like the freestyle part of it. I'd never written a rap or anything or recorded or done anything at this point. It was just like I said, freestyling on the way to school, back and, you know, walking to school with some friends or coming home or whatever. And then at a party on Friday night, all of a sudden motherfuckers would have me rapping the whole goddamn night. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, put on another beat, fucking red, go, go, go. I'll be like, God, yeah, man, I want to drink, motherfucker. Shut up. Like, aren't y'all tired of hearing me fucking rap? Like, Jesus Christ. But I could do that shit. I could literally sit there and fucking rhyme over Phil Collins' Air of the Night, fucking Biggie Small, anything a motherfucker would throw on. That's what would trip people out. And then I could you could pick things up and I'd rap about them or, you know, talk about people in the crowd, whatever. I'd just do that shit like improv all night. And they're just like, holy fuck, dude. What the fuck? And, you know, so then it was like, okay, I'm obviously not bad at this shit. You know what I'm saying? I obviously got some skill level with it. And, you know, having a musical background, I think for sure that helped me. I was kind of like, all right, maybe this is my instrument. You know what I'm saying? Is my wordplay and my fucking, my vocals. That's my instrument. So I just kind of started looking at it like that. And then when that dude started that 50 Below Records here and he kind of reached out to me because they just kind of went around the town and grabbed all like the top tier, you know, there's a couple little groups out here doing stuff and a group of dudes that just got out of jail that were known to, you know, be good. And there was a little singer from the military base that they grabbed, and then they come and grab me. I was the only white dude, and I was the youngest cat in the clique. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was like where I was like, okay. I got in the studio for the first time, and I'm like, damn, this is fucking dope, man. Put them earphones on. I'm like, whoa. I feel like I'm on a CD or, you know, I'm listening to myself on the radio. This is crazy. Yeah, you like that? Yeah. Then they taught me how to write. They're like, okay, now you got to start writing, man. You can't just freestyle everything, bro. You can't just freestyle. I'm sorry. You have to come up with content. You have to write bars down. I didn't know how to do that shit. I just knew how to get behind a mic and make words come together. You know what I'm saying? So, or just do it, not even behind a mic, just make words come together. So I found it a hard transition when it came to go from freestyling to actually writing songs. And I wasn't very good at it at first. I didn't think, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm probably one of my worst critics still to this day, but like, I just didn't think I was real good at it. I always was like, man, my freestylers are way tougher. You know what I mean? They're just, I don't know, just like, because there's raw emotion behind them, the way you feel the fucking track and the way it makes you, you know, respond to it. It kind of more or less when I'm looking at a piece of paper and I'm trying to put words down on it and I'm like, okay, now I gotta, it just wasn't connecting the same way. You know what I'm saying? So it took me some time and effort and like building that craft of being able to write rhymes where I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of clever, man. I like how I changed my cadence up right there. Oh, yeah, that was dope. All right. Okay. I'm starting to kind of get this shit. Now I feel like I'm at that level where my writtens, you know, surpass or match up to my skill of freestyle. You know what I mean?
Your freestyles. Yeah. If you had to split yourself in the into two versions of yourself, the freestyle and the written version of yourself, and they went at each other in a battle, who comes out? Who comes out victorious?
You know, I think if it was just like, okay, you're going to write something against yourself and then you're going to just freestyle against yourself, it would kind of be a toss up, because I'm usually, if I'm writing something like in battle format, I usually have to be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? And then then it gives me that fuel to like kind of like snap and fucking say the fucking shit that I say, or, you know, dig up research on a motherfucker or whatever you got to do to like make the battle presence come together, which I'm not a battle rapper. I've never joined in any battle raps ever. I've just written some battle raps just in case I ever had to do the shit, you know what I'm saying? Had to keep my sword sharp just in case I ever had to get the goddamn thing. But that's right. But like, I feel like honestly, it would just really depend on the day, you know, because freestyling, like, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's subpar. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and it's all about the vibe I'm in, where we're at, who's around. I always feel like my fucking best freestyles come when I'm under pressure, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm in a room of other motherfuckers that don't know me and I got to show out and I got to show them, you know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, there's a reason I'm here and you're gonna learn today. Like, why the fuck I'm in this room with you motherfuckers and I'm standing here right now? It's not because I paid. It's not because some motherfucker knew me and brought me here. It's because I worked my ass off and because I got skills. You know what I'm saying? And I've gained a lot of respect from my peers just from putting that shit down in different situations like that, where people are like, okay, motherfucker, yep, you're serious. That's real.
Man, you know what's crazy about that is, you know how a lot of places have scenes that are kind of like more nightlife based, just because of like that's what's out there, and maybe the population isn't that, you know, big. Well, some places don't even have that, and what they have is just house party circuits, and that's where I kind of got my start from. So I became a battle rapper not by choice, but by being in the environment of it. Because the only way that you could actually get involved with rapping and get some sort of attention is if you were head-to-head combat. Because,
at the house parties, getting it in. Yeah,
there was many nights where I won $20, $40, $60, you know, like just destroying guys, tearing them apart left and right. You know what I'm saying? But then there was some nights where I lost, and it was pretty humiliating. What I was going to ask you in particular about the battle rap stuff, I know that you say you didn't like it necessarily, but what do you think about this whole culture of competition, like the celebrity boxing shit, and, you know, like the verses, like that sort of competition? I think that a lot of that's coming into like popularity the last couple of years, maybe since the pandemic, so to speak. Do you think that battle rap,
for sure,
do you think that battle rap could reach that sort of height where it's pulling in millions of dollars for pay-per-view? I don't know if you follow it whatsoever, but there's celebrities that they elevate to the point of where like shows like Wildin' Out, like Nick Cannon would put, you know, real solid battle rappers in there, and it was
on his show.
It was like child's play to them.
I mean, man. Yeah, I think being an MC, you know what I'm saying, first and foremost, I fucking respect the shit out of that part of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've met Marv One, I've met Real Deal, I've met a couple of those guys when they done some battles up here and shit, and I follow those guys and I watch them, and I think And I love the aspect of the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're clever, they're witty, the fucking punchlines, some of them are funny, some of them are fucking, you know what I'm saying? It's just like there's such a wide variety in the genre, and it's like there's so many different ways the guys do delivery and stuff. It's just super clever and creative to me, and I fucking respect the shit out of it. But it's sad to me that it doesn't get the respect on the same level as like a charting artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get an artist that makes a pop hit, and it's like, oh, shit's the biggest thing in the world. Oh my God, that's huge, and it's big, and it's played, and they get all this money, and it's big. You know, you got these guys that go out here and do KOTD battles and these other battle circuits, and it's like some of them have done well, and some of them have made some good paychecks off it, but they don't. I've never seen a battle rapper reach that success that like a mainstream artist has ever reached. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Yes.
Eminem, right?
Okay.
Like,
yeah. Excuse me. Like, no. Only one of the best battle rappers in the world was the best MC in the world as well. But it's like, besides that, though, man, it's like they're very few and far between. Like, Mad Child's had a pretty good fucking career as a battle rapper, but also because he was in Swollen Members, you know what I'm saying? So they had a lot of success. So then branching out on his own from being a prolific battle rapper and being in that group that was well known and did a lot of numbers, he had a way better chance of making some noise and kind of having a better career. You know what I'm saying? And he still is. He's still out there making noise, making music, making moves, and doing his thing. But a lot of those other guys that are just like, they get stuck in that box of, that's what they do is battle rap, and then they try to transition it into like making songs. Some of them aren't very good at making songs, and some of them aren't making real good just like music. You know what I'm saying? So some of them make real good music, but it just doesn't cross over, I think, because the people that are watching them are looking at them are like, I'm wanting to watch the battles. I want to see him smash on somebody. I want to see him cut dude up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just don't think they've ever it just doesn't cross over like that. Like, I would love to see it do that. It just hasn't done that. You know what I mean?
It hasn't integrated into society a little bit deeper.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are nervous about it too. When you're like, oh, I'm gonna get guys that are battle rappers, they're like, oh yeah, great, then we're gonna have shootings after the fuck. And I'm like, no. I say, you got way more problems at a fucking rock concert or a country concert than you're gonna have at a battle rap, because these guys are all coming here on the level of respect. They know what the fuck they're doing. These are professionals we're trying to line up, and even if there's amateurs in the event, they're usually under the understanding, you know, like, come on, man, carry yourself in a fucking professional manner. You know what I'm saying? We're not in here throwing blows at each other, fighting, you know what I'm saying? None of that kind of shit. That shit ain't going on, you know what I mean?
No, for real. So I like to get your opinion on things, because you do have a really interesting opinion about a lot of things in the rap world. But I want to talk about the OGAR album. You told me, me and you talked separately earlier today, and we were discussing the OGAR album. You told me the acronym. Can you break that down for us a little bit?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's the OGAR, the OGAR, spelled OGAR, acronymed out, and it stands for the OG Alaska Red.
Yes, that's right. That right there, it to me, you know, when I first heard that, dog, like it set off like a light bulb in my head. Like, yes, this is definitely the right step for him to be going. And I already had pictured in my head what that would look like, and then I actually saw the album cover. And when I saw the album cover, I was like, this is better than what I thought. And it kind of gave me, nice. I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, this looks like Sons of Anarchy for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like a zombies, style shit. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is really cool. If you made merchandise like this would be really fucking awesome. Like, you know, shirts, hoodies, shit like that. Yeah. I like the direction you're going with this. From the outside, because the way that my brain works, and, you know, a lot of the people who listen to me or follow me in any kind of way, they either like it, love it, or they're just the same, or they hate it. But I make connections, and I connect dots, and then suddenly something. I guess you could say that I jumped the gun on a lot of things. But when I see an album like this, I think that it's a concept album. I feel like there's a story or a meaning, or there's like an attitude shift in and what's going on. Because if I follow
for sure,
the
100%.
discography of who you are, if I'm a super fan and I've been listening to everything from day one, I'm gonna know that there's a big power shift in this next project. That's
definitely,
what I got
definitely.
from that cover.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, man. It's like we were talking about earlier. It's basically, I put this album together over the last few years, and the concept of the name came from a buddy of mine. You know, he walked in the studio, like I said one time, and he was like, "Man, what's up? You the Ogre?" I'm like, "The Ogre? What the fuck you talking about?" You know, he was like, "The Ogre, man. You the OG, the OG Alaska Red." And I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of catchy, man. You know, da-da-da-da." Sat on it for a while, but as it like transpired, and I was like, yeah, that is catchy. It's kind of like you said, you know, sometimes you gotta like let your nuts drop and, you know, poke your chest out a little bit and be like, yeah, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? I'm still here. I'm still hanging with the best of you, and even better than some of the rest of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta let them know every once in a while. And so just the thought process of the name, and then, you know, putting the artwork together for my dude D-Cools, like the concept just came together. I was like, man, this is dope. It's kind of dark. It's kind of a little more edgy. And then I started just going hand picking these songs and putting the concept together, you know, all together. It's a cohesive flow through the album, like from the start to the end. Like, I pride myself in that as an artist and as someone that makes music and has been putting out albums my entire career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really take time when I'm selecting the songs and I'm putting them in the order that they go. You know what I mean? I want it to almost fucking tell a story to you. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I want it to almost be a fucking story as you listen to it. So that's kind of what like my thought process behind this one was when I was putting it all together. And like I said, it's like, it just has a little bit of a darker, edgier, you know what I'm saying, pitch to it, but definitely elevation and, you know, lyricism and growth as a person and as a, you know, father, human, MC, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you can definitely hear it.
Yeah. Could this be considered like, you know how some people create the magnum opus of their fucking career, like their masterpiece, like when it's a coming of age, they realize everything in their life, they're at a certain point, and the craft is just like a weapon at that point. You know what I'm saying? And they're just firing that shit off.
For sure.
Would it be safe to say that you're reaching that area where you're gonna drop that album that's like the 7-course meal? So to speak. Man,
I mean, you know, I hope so, and I feel like maybe for some people it will be, but you know, I honestly feel like I'm never at my wit's end of being creative or at my absolute best. I always feel like as long as I fucking focus, man, and I put my energy and thought into something, I'm always going to be able to create something even better next time. You know what I'm saying? So I always look at it for right now, fuck yeah, this is something like some of the pinnacle of my career type shit. But, you know, I don't ever try to set that precedent like this is going to be the best thing ever, because I look at my last album and I'm like, God damn, man, that one is like my fucking heart, because I changed direction on it as an artist, man. I went away from like the more grimier sounds, and this is my previous album, Snowsuits and Bunny Boots I'm talking about. So I kind of went away from like the more grimier sounds. I went with a new producer on a lot of the album. A lot of it's more like politically driven and issue driven songs, and it's a lot more fucking like way from the heart stuff, like telling stories of my childhood and shit in there, and just shit I've never done before, man. And so it was like, I feel like that is like one of my most, I don't know, me giving myself to people albums I've ever done. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And I fucking love that album. I won fucking album of the year that year at the Hip Hop Awards up here in Alaska. I won Best Male MC that year. I mean, I cleaned up the awards that year I dropped that album. So it made me proud, because I felt like that album, I put so much fucking energy and like, you know what I'm saying, so much of myself into it that I felt that it was deserving. Not to say like to short this album in any way, shape, or form, because I still always put 100% of myself in anything I ever put out. But I just feel like the direction of the music kind of shifted away from like that more, you know, there's some heartfelt stuff in there for sure, but it's not as like storytelling from my past driven. It's more of in the now. like in a little bit more, you know, like I said, darker and edgier and like, you know, just a little bit more grittier, and brings it back to that original sound that I used to have. Cause I used to have this like really heavy organ driven, dark, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, long driven out bass lines and shit. And so that is just what I gravitated towards as an artist when I was writing and making projects. So I feel like this one kind of brought it back to that.
I love the dark piano shit. Like I was big into the 90s when they used to, you know what I'm saying?
Strings, pianos.
Yeah, I love that shit. That New York shit, that East Coast shit. I love that, man.
Yes, sir.
Fuck, I was gonna ask you about something that we were talking about in general, but I fucking forgot. You know, I'm over here smoking this backwood, and I'm listening to you, and then I'm not thinking about the next thing to say because what you're saying is keeping me, you know, intrigued. But where I want to take this next is now that I remember, one thing that I always get asked a lot whenever I'm like around people who don't rap but they know that I rap is like, how do I meet the people that I do songs with, or that I talk to online or something, you know, just because they know them from a different world and they think they get real curious about it. So I've been asked before, like, oh, how do you know Alaska Red? You know, like there's this guy that I used to work with over here in the Tri-Cities, and he was from Alaska, and he came over here. He's like, no, he's a big fucking deal over there. He's on the news, like telling me all this shit about you. And I was like, yeah, I got a song with him, because he heard the song after I told him, but like he was giving it up about you and saying, you know, like, yeah, he's a big deal over there. So I like to tell people, you know, like for example, that's that dope. Song specifically, when I asked you to be on that track, I think that what was the first instance that we met? Was it at the Illuminati Tour Stop show?
Yeah, the first time we met was I did that Northwest Warpath tour with Illust and all them guys, and we did like the shows through Montana and Oregon, and I think I met you when we did one of the dates out there, and then we did TIFE together.
There we go. Do you remember I got one of your shirts and you got one of my hats?
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was rocking your hat for fucking ever, bro. Forever. I was rocking that shit forever, bro.
Yeah, same here. I wore the shirt out, man. Like I think
that's what I was gonna say. I wore that shit till I couldn't even wear it no more, motherfucker. Like I love that the graveyard shovels, the little shovels on that shit cross. I was like, that shit's sick. Yeah,
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. When I sent you that track, man, you sent me a verse back that I thought was really fucking great, because it was you. It was you. Like you could tell that the little bits that you added were environmental sort of things. Like when I heard the moose head stew, like that line right there really struck to me, because I was like, man, I wonder what the fuck that tastes like. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I don't know, I might like that shit. I don't know. It's just some different shit. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, we got a banger right here. And I shot a music video for it, because I don't think that I could have been able to get you down here at that time, right? So I just shot a video for it, but I promoted the audio version heavily. And right now, it's still one of my most played songs that I have across analytics. So I really like to to thank you for that, because I don't think that I've ever thanked you personally for opening me up to a whole new market. You know what I'm saying? Like people who would have never heard me before, you know, some of your fans, we have mutual fans in that regard too. So I think that's like a gift like the rap world is is full of gifts, man. This is just, there's so, if you know what you're looking at, it's it's everywhere. I mean, that's the reason why I've been able to survive so long in this game. I mean, I'm saying that to you, which is kind of funny, but because you've survived everything. But like, there's little pockets and eras that you're not supposed to get out of unless you evolve, unless you change, right? So
for sure.
So
man.
I think there's two ways you do this. You either adjust and adapt to everything, and that becomes your brand, or you stay the same so hard that you become like a brand like Jack Daniels or something, or Timberland. You know what I'm saying? That people know what they're going to get every single time that it comes to you. See, I think that you do a really good job of balancing both ideas, you find a bridge in between being a traditional cult-like following artist where you know people will go to Tool concerts anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Or
right,
100%, things of that nature. You got a real
Tech Nine, ICP, all
you got a real mobile following. They move, you move. You're never in one place at a time, and I think that's rare. I think that's what like the indie labels try to like snatch up dudes like you, so that they can get you to work for them, planning tours and things.
Hell yeah! You better believe that shit.
So I've always recognized that from the outside, because I've always been trying to figure out how to get on the inside and reverse engineer that sort of thought process. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that guys like you learn from experience and just tackling things head on, right?
Yes, 100%.
I've learned a lot of
trial and error, man. It's been a lot of trial and error, bro.
I learned a lot from watching guys like you do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, me too, dog. Me too. Like, I watched my peers. I soak up game from people that I know that, like, you know, I know when it's time to talk, and I know when it's time to shut the fuck up, and I know when it's time to soak shit up. Because sometimes it's invaluable just to listen to somebody sometimes, because you will learn so fucking much. And it's like gems and priceless shit that you will not learn at a school, not from, you know what I mean? It's just, it's things you just pick up, and you're like, oh, okay. In all aspects, business, the industry, whatever it may be. If you're a graphic designer, you're a rapper, whatever, man. I've picked up so many jewels from so many different people, just from being an attentive listener, and then just being a hard worker too, man. When you work hard, it speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? And you do good business with people. You ain't trying to shade people. You're not always looking out for the dollar. You're not always looking out for yourself. You're genuinely interested in this other person's well-being and what the fuck they got going on too. It makes for a better conversation. It makes for a better connection. And you know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, like, rap is a gift. Music is a gift, man. It's a language, you know what I'm saying? And it brings people together, and it brings cultures together, and it brings from all walks of life too. And that's what's so cool about it. It brings all these different people from all these different places and all these different backgrounds together. And they can like vibe out and chill and enjoy shit, man. So it's like, if you can tap into that, and you're one of those people that can, like, you know, harness that energy, man, and spread that energy to people, I think it's a very important part of life, and it's a very important thing that there's people out there that do that. So I just try to, you know what I'm saying, soak it up, reciprocate it, and pass it back out to people when and where I can. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's the best thing that you can do, man. Being an OG, being somebody who's been in the game, and you got all this free game.
Why not kick it off to the younger dudes that are trying to learn, you know? And I don't know everything, because, like we were saying, the game changes, right? And so are you going to be one of those deadheads that just sits there and, fuck this shit, I don't know nothing, I'm just going to do what I was stuck like that for a minute, man. But now I'm accepting the fact that, you know, nobody's going to come save me. You know what I'm saying? So I have to learn shit. I have to take these marketing classes. I have to learn how to do these ad sets and these fucking campaigns and all this shit that I don't necessarily want to do, but I have to do it. Because if I want to be a successful artist and I want to make my music career a career, like, and be in the music business, not just making fucking music to make music, you have to do these kind of things. You have to evolve with the changes. You have to evolve with the time. You have to expand your catalog and your services that you provide to people. You know what I'm saying? What kind of value you're adding to these people's lives by them either following you or listening to your music or using your services or whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely. When I was creating Graveyard Shift, I went on the blueprint model of Rockefeller Records, because I've always been a huge Jay-Z fan. For as long as as long as I can remember, I've always kind of tried to study the ideas that he had through the albums, or you know, what he would do in his business dealings that you could see it, like,
the smartest thing you can do, man. Like, if you look at someone that's successful or is a success, and you follow their blueprint, man. That's how people get successful. Successful is like, how do they become successful? Maybe implement some of the strategies, man. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I wanted to ask you, was there a blueprint that you kind of, not necessarily like, jack the blueprint, but like you studied it and you applied pressure in the way that you wanted to?
Definitely. I mean, I got a lot of game from my older brother off top. Like, my older brother still lives in Spokane right now. He's in a band called Everyone Loves a Villain.
Oh, cool. Shout out
those
to them.
guys, dude, those guys got millions of streams. Millions of streams on their songs on fucking Spotify. My brother's been a successful musician like his whole career, bro. He was in a band back in the early 2000s that was really big in the Pacific Northwest called 5 Foot Thick. And so, like, he's had a lot of success, man. So, like, he's had his hand on the, like, the industry and, like, the kind of what to do's, and this is how you can kind of do. So I've asked my brother for tons of advice, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, back in the day before there was digital, press kits or whatever, there was things called fucking promo packs that we used to send out to record labels or people, and they were like a folder with a sticker on the front and a business card in the inside and a CD in it and a 8x10 headshot of the band or group, and then stories and write-ups and all this shit, that you got in a digital press kit now, but it was all tangible in your hands. Like, I didn't know nothing about that. My brother showed me how to make those. You know what I'm saying? And I went out and started putting my not press kit, but my press kit together, and, sent it out to a few different people and got some response. I sent it out to Violator Records back in the day, got a response from them. They're like, yeah, man, you sound good. Keep doing your thing. It's not really what we're looking for on the roster right now. I'm like, oh, dope. At least they responded. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it got the response that it was supposed to do. But that's definitely one of the places that I've gotten a lot of guidance and support and advice from, and still do to this day. Besides that, just like you said, man, watching other successful artists, and not just in the sense of like, oh man, yeah, I'm watching him, I'm gonna dress like him, or I'm gonna sing like him, rap like him. Like when I met Tech, dude, the dude was one of the fucking coolest, most down to earth, humblest dudes I've ever met in my life. And still is to this day. Every time I ever do a show with him or ever bring him up, he's still the same dude. You know what I'm saying? All those guys are, man. They're fucking great human beings, man. Not just artists. They're great fucking people. And then it's like, you go out there and you watch them do what they do, and I'm just like, holy fuck. I'd never seen, for one, I hadn't seen very many rap shows live, period. But I had never seen a fucking rapper do what they did. Like, it was mind blowing to me, dog. It was mind fucking blowing to me. And I was just like, I want to be like that when I grow up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be just like that when I grow up. And that's what I shot for. I look, not so much that I want to be just like Tech, but I fucking want to put on a show that's as high caliber as fucking Tech. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much energy and as much fucking ferocity and as much, doing a little bit of coordinating with the other guy that's my hype man or whatever, to where we have some parts where we do some little dance moves in there. And I started doing that shit. Like, and it fucking stepped my show up 100-fold. You know what I'm saying? So it was not a dumb thing to do. It's smart. If you see people that are successful, man, if you can study the formula, break it down, and kind of do it in your own way, but like, take them gems, man, that I was talking about, take them jewels that you soak up, and just, work your ass off and implement it into your shit, man. Hey, you learn from the best, and you grow like that, and you surround yourself with that greatness,
Yeah, if you follow the path, you become like them,
For sure, man.
The best. I learned a lot from my brother Illist. He really put me onto a lot of things. He helped broaden the horizon. So that
dude is a G, bro. That dude, I respect the fuck out of him too. Like, he's amazing to me too. He's an amazing dude to me too. Like, I watch his hustle, and I've seen him like evolve from like doing the rap stuff and doing the tours to the comic book things and big props to that dude. It's amazing what that dude does, man. He's a smart dude. Great businessman. Yeah, good artist. They just moved down to AZ, didn't they?
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm trying to fly down there and go kick it with them.
For real.
Oh yeah. But maybe we'll do like TIFE out there or something. We've been talking about, TIFE possibly still existing at some point, but
that'd be cool, man.
With the pandemic and things going on, it really, it really makes it hard to do festivals and stuff. But at least it did. I'm not sure how things are going to be moving forward. But in my mind, I would hope that we could do a TIFE sort of situation outside of Montana.
Right.
So maybe we would fly down to Arizona, and it'd be hot as fuck, to be honest.
Right.
Maybe we can go to Utah or something, but
somewhere a little cooler.
A little bit cooler, right? But I love hearing you say that, because I've always considered the things you said about Illis, I consider the same about you too. I think a lot of us guys in the underground that fuck with each other, that make music, they could play in a playlist together, so to speak. We're all at a certain caliber when it comes to the talent, like guys like Dickles, like how you mentioned, he's a part of firing squad with Z, the Piranha, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you could talk about all these guys who know each other, who make music with each other and stuff, and they're all a part of like an invisible genre, so to speak.
Yeah.
What I'm
man,
saying?
for real.
And I love that, because whoever's tapped in, they know it, and they don't really give a fuck if anybody else knows it.
Right.
And it's kind of like a hidden underground thing. And I know this because I've done songs with you, them, as far as Z and Retro, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and I really think it's really interesting because something's happening here. And I've told people a lot that the Northwest is creating a music scene that is independent, that it runs off of its own energy.
Yep.
And that it's supported by its own.
I think you're right in that aspect too, man, because like, you know how like you get artists that come out of like California that, you can go goddamn gold in California in your own fucking city. You can go gold out of Texas, out of Houston, because there's so many motherfuckers and they support their artists and their scene so much down there in Texas. You see how Paul and fucking and all those guys all fuck with each other tough. There's hella love, Bun, all them dudes. It's like a support system down there. Exactly, bro. And it's like them dudes you can go platinum in your own fucking city doing that kind of stuff. We're a little smaller. We're a little not quite as big. Seattle's a big metropolis area, but like when you start talking about the cities in Montana, like the Spokane, the Tri-City areas, then you start getting to some of the Oregon cities that are smaller than Portland. You start, but even including Portland, Seattle, and all that, you start including it all as a unit, and you start talking about, like you said, all the guys that know each other and all the guys that are doing stuff together, and kind of we all book the same people and kind of run the same circuits and shit like that. It's starting to become its own force, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully it keeps blossoming and turning into something great where a lot of artists are able to reap the benefits of success and longevity in their careers.
You know what's interesting about that idea? That's been my whole concept of my brand and my whole rap career. I've been manifesting putting the Northwest on the map. It's even part of my name, with Tory Northwest.
Right.
My whole thing was that I knew that Seattle wasn't the only, it wasn't the end for us.
Nah.
And as far as the corporate world getting involved, maybe that's why it felt the way that it did. Because when corporate's involved with something, it kind of feels dystopian.
No, for sure.
It feels futuristically, like where there's people who are the rich or people who are poor.
And they're going to push the agenda on you. It's you're not California rap because that's what's hot right now. You're not Atlanta rap right now because that that's the sound that's hot. So if you're not that, then that's not what we're fucking with. You're not New York. So it's
market.
I mean it's a huge part of it. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to put the big dollars and the big push behind people that they don't feel they're going to get their return on. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
So it's up to us.
We've been manifesting the Northwest shit for a long time. So what I consider Alaska a part of the Northwest too. Like
Definitely.
I know that I probably get schooled by somebody who has a map in front of them or some shit. But to be honest, I think that our lifestyles are real similar too. You know, we got a lot of the same.
Very, man. Every time, like I said, man, Washington's my second home, and when I go to like places like Montana and drive through the Pacific Northwest, I'm like, fuck, man, there's a lot of places that feel just like Alaska. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like Alaska's a really big state, but it's small. You know what I'm saying? Even our biggest city's small. Everybody knows each other, so everybody's tapped in with each other, and it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those kind of places, man, that it's like it's big, but it's small at the same time. And we definitely are part of the Northwest, because our closest stop to get the fuck out of here by jumping over Canada, you know, because that's not our country. We're going to jump over Canada. We're going to be in Seattle, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like off top, we're dropping right into Seattle. And so it's like, you got a lot of people up here that are like hella Seahawk fans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, like Seahawks are like our team, because we don't have no fucking team. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I've been a Seahawk fan. Let me set the record straight. I've been a Seahawk fan my whole goddamn life, because I'm originally from Spokane. So I was rocking with them ever since the Boz, you know what I'm saying, way back in the day.
How do you feel about Russell?
You know, man, at first I was kind of like, oh, no, right. You know, like everybody else, because I thought that was like our franchise quarterback forever. Like, you know, but there's been a couple of talks the last few years about him not being happy, and you can kind of tell what's going on the field and shit. You're just like, I don't know, man. Maybe it is time for him to move on. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? And we're shaking shit up in the organization's note. Like, I mean, when we pulled him in, look at what Pete Carroll was doing. So it's like, you know, fuck it, shake it up again. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll get another one. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Seattle has a special energy. Like we're always going to be a great team, but we're not always going to be that championship team, if ever.
For sure.
Like, the Mariners have always broke my heart.
Right.
Ever since the 90s, when I was introduced to the Mariners, and King Griffey, Alex Rodriguez, Edgar Martinez, you can go on and on and on. These dudes were they were like the Avengers, dog. They were the Avengers. Because every single one of them had their own special, like, you know what I'm saying, attribute or whatever. Like Griffey, he was the home run, like the perfect swing. He had the picture perfect swing, and he would hit home runs whenever you thought, like, this motherfucker's gonna smack it out the park.
Right.
Like a lot of times he would fucking do so.
Yeah.
And then Alex Rodriguez was the guy who you knew was like the next best one up. You know what I'm saying? And then Edgar Martinez was just so fucking good that you're like, oh, I can trust him to hit after the back-to-back home runs. He'll hit the fourth one out of the fucking park too. These guys were hitting 4 home runs out of the fucking park. This was like superstar shit, and nobody ever fucking talked about it.
Right.
Like, it's crazy. The Mariners were like the Bulls to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just couldn't get it done.
I feel you.
Sorry, man. I had to go on the Mariner tangent for a second.
It's all good. Man. It's all good.
Let's get it back into music a little bit. I want to talk for another like 10 or 15 minutes or so we can kind of, you know, round out the podcast here for the night.
Definitely.
I want to ask you some questions because, you know, since I have you on this forum, I want to ask you some questions that I think that are kind of like light questions, easy to digest, but they kind of give a better idea of who you are as a person. Who are your top 3 rappers that you would say are your favorite rappers of all time?
Top 3 favorites? I'd probably have to say E40, Tech 9, and that third one's always a hard one for me. I don't know. You know, it's hard to say because, like, you know, I love Pac, I love Big, I love Snoop, I love Cube, I love Eminem, I love Jay. You know what I'm saying? I'm from that era, so like I'm heavy influenced by all that shit. But like the guys that really have influenced me like through my career have been like the E40s and, you know, Tech 9 and shit like that, man. P, yeah, for sure, man. P was always a big influence too, man. You know, he was a trendsetter. Like I was at Sam Goody every week grabbing one of those colorful CDs. I don't know about you, but I was there every week grabbing one of them motherfuckers. He was always dropping some new shit like every single week. It was pretty impressive. I was like, whoa, I've never seen that before. You know what I mean? Like,
I was super into Cash Money Millionaires. Super into
yeah, they were fucking pretty phenomenal as a record label, and you know, yeah, just all together, man. They were dope. Fucking Master P was a cool movement at the time too. So yeah, man. You know, and I was into East Coast hip hop too, because I mean, originally that's, you know, of course, where it fucking came from, and like back in the day, you were really getting a bunch of that. But like, I'd say one of the other most influential groups to me would probably be NWA. Like that was like, man, I heard that shit, it was over. I was about 13. Yeah, what was I, like 12? Yeah, like 11, 12 years old, and I got that tape. Oh shit, it was over.
Dude, it was something else.
It was
your NWA
fucking over. I was like, holy shit, I love this. This is what it's all about right here.
Fucking
fuck the police. I was like, oh yeah.
Dog, playing that shit loud in your car, like that was some dope shit to do back when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like 15 years old driving around and shit with no license, and I remember having the NWA CD and letting that shit blare.
Oh, bro.
So okay, I got another question for you. If you had a chance to do a track with a artist of your choice and a producer of your choice for one track, who would that team be?
Whew. Artist and producer, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Like anybody, I'd probably want like either a DJ Premier beat. I'd probably want a DJ Premier beat if I could get any producer to fucking produce something for me. I'd say probably DJ Premier. And I'd probably want to rock with Jay. I ain't even gonna lie. I just think with the way his flow is, that it'd be a good match, and I think we could carry.
Yeah. That's like Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, bro.
That's like
bro. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite albums.
That album's harder than fuck.
Holy shit! Wow, great pick, man. I would hate to follow that up right now, so I won't. That was great. Okay, so I like that, but let me ask you this. Let's switch it up a little bit. Okay. If you weren't a rapper, do you think that you know what you would be doing?
Probably nothing no good, man. I mean, like, I'm just gonna be 100% honest. Like, music, mm-hmm. I've done a bunch of shit, you know what I'm saying? I've had jobs. Like, I just got done being a fucking project manager of one of the fucking cannabis companies in town, building out a couple rooms for them.
Oh, dope.
And so I'll take jobs from here and there, you know, do shit from here time to time, but I've definitely, the forefront of my focus and my main career goal has always been my music. Always. And like, if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be doing some street shit, because that's what I did before. And that was like one of the only other things I was really good at. You know what I'm saying?
And it's always there. Yeah,
and it's fast fucking money, and it's a dick, dude. Like, there's been so many times where I've just even been like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's hard, man. It's hard to stay, you know, legit, and it's hard to stay smart and like, but honestly, it's just the smartness about it. I've seen too many people go away. I've lost too many people over the bullshit, and it's just like, I got kids that are grown ups now, but what saved me really was like getting into music and like being on the radio, really, man. Like, when I got a job at the radio station, I was already known in town, right? I was known in my city pretty well for being an artist and just being red, like on the streets. Ready Red, man. What's up, Ready Red, man? But I got that job, and it was like, I was still red on the air. I didn't change my persona, nothing. I was just me. I started thinking, man, that'd be fucked up if I get popped for something. They're gonna have me K-Wolf DJ red up in the fucking paper, got popped for rubbing it up, and I'm just like, man, that's just not
turns into something.
It's just not a good look, you know. And I was in the public eye all the time and shit, and then I just started seeing like opportunities and shit changing for me. You know what I'm saying? Because that was like right when I'd opened up my studio too. Like, people weren't really taking me serious. Like, I'm just some rapper dude, young, with a recording studio underneath a barbershop. But then all of a sudden I was sponsoring shit like Fairbanks Idol and doing giveaways, and I had commercials placed right next to Alaska Airlines, and I'm running fucking ads like the biggest companies in the state. You know what I'm saying? They're like, who the fuck is this kid? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah. I just kept my presence strong. Always have. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's been fun.
Man. Well, I love the conversation that we had today, man. I just want to ask you, could you let the people know where they can find your music and the social media stuff? So if they're listening to this, when I put it on Spotify and Apple Music, they're going to look for your Instagram, and I'll put it in the bio too as well. But if they want to get as much content as they can from you, how are they gonna get about that?
The easiest way to find me is to Google me, bit. No, I'm just playing. Nah, you can find me at alaskared.com. Basically, boom. All my content is right there. There's sign up to be part of my coldest crew, which is a little private community that I have where I do a lot of live streaming and do giveaways and just talk to people and do a lot of interacting. And that's a private group on Facebook that I have. But like I said, all my social media is at Alaska Red. You can find me everywhere. alaskared.com is the website. It'll link you up to all the music, the videos, all that stuff. You guys want to join the coldest crew, make sure you get on there, sign up for that, chat with me, interact with me. I love meeting new people, starting conversations. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about.
That's right. And as far as this episode of Tory Talk Podcast, I'm going to upload it on Spotify and Apple Music, so it should be available very soon. And if you're listening to this already, you know that. That's a trippy little Matrix moment that we just had there. But thank you so much for tuning in, man. The audience, because we did have people popping in, actually. This was the first time that we did a Spotify green room. I have to explain that for the future listeners. Isn't that crazy? You have to explain that for the future listeners? But yeah.
I've never done one of these either, so that's pretty crazy.
So, yeah, that's what's going on. But at the same time, well, I just mind fucked myself. But yeah. All right, my guy, I'm going to holler at you, man. Thank you for being on the podcast, and we're going to hold it down in the future. We're going to do some more music, maybe get another song in or so. And, yeah, thank you, man. I'm going to holler at you real soon.
Thank you for having me, man. You guys have a great night. Stay safe out there.
All righty, 1,000.